We're here at the amazing Armenia Pavilion, and I'm joined by the Pavilion Director, Edik Hotanyan. Edik, wonderful to meet you. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Well, thank you very much for visiting us. It's always a pleasure.
Now, Edik, it's a really powerful eight-pillar message that you've got through here with the Armenia um, booth and the Pavilion. Talk about what those key pillars are, and let's dive a bit deeper into that afterwards.
Yeah, so as you rightfully mentioned, through 8 pillars, we're showcasing 3 main things: where we come from as a nation, our cultural and historic rich heritage, what are our current achievements, innovation and business-wise, of course, and what is our vision for the future, what we offer to the world. Because basically, when we look into the whole ideology of the World Expo, that's one of the main, pillars to share the common experiences and try to understand what's the future we want to shape together.
Yeah. Well, there's a few things that stood out to me really powerfully. The education side, I want to discuss a little bit later. The history, the 6,000 years of the wine growing, the obviously the first human-made shoe that we talked about as well. But there's some really interesting things around the way that Armenia has shaped the region as well, and how it's really leading the way in some of the, let's say, bridging multiple regions together with the peacefulness, the tourism piece. There's so many great things that are really shaping Armenia for now and for the future.
Yes, and when we speak about Armenia, that's always interesting. You might ask, at some regions they think of us as an innovation hub. And then you speak to a wine enthusiast and they're like, yeah, that's the center of enoturism, so there is a lot in there. But of course here in terms of innovation and in terms of business, we're talking about the openness of the country towards the business. And this is something that has, again, shaped Armenia's economy in recent years drastically. For example, if we are looking into the export numbers, 53%
Huge,
growth annually. And that's a lot. And but of course, that's not something that our economy is only dependent on. If you're looking into the numbers of the GDP growth overall, which is constantly high as well. For example, of course, COVID, we do not, 2020, none of the countries, counts because there was a decrease for all of us. But right after that, we had 12.6% GDP growth. Last year, it was around 6%, if I'm not mistaken. And that's very well diversified. When I'm saying that, so it's not only that a sole sector or industry takes all of it, but that's diversified. It comes with the IT sector, it comes with the services, with the construction, with the trade, all of it are in.
And so many Western companies from all around the world see the opportunity, the ease of doing business, the FDI benefits. So can we touch on that for our audience? Because that's really important as well for a lot of our viewers who want to know how Armenia can be a great place for them to grow their businesses as well.
Exactly. As I've mentioned, going around, Armenian government gives around 16 incentives, and many of them are so interesting that you might not even meet somewhere in the world. For example, if you're doing business in Armenia and you have qualified staff to bring from outside, of course there are no staff recruitment restrictions, but if you're bringing highly qualified staff, up to 70% of their wages will be paid by the government.
Wow,
there's
huge.
a cashback for investments of up to 50%. So that very much differs in their character. But what is mostly important is that there is no differentiation between a foreign investor and a local one. So anyone from any background, from any country doing business in Armenia gets the exact same treatment as us, the nationals.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
That's
I think.
great, yeah.
And when we speak about foreign companies, of course, one thing that is instrumental in the role of them coming to Armenia, and we're very much proud of it, is the talent pool that a country has.
Yeah.
And that smoothly takes us to the next point,
Well,
education. Right?
Education,
Exactly.
that's exactly a great segue, because the education, you're really basically reshaping that education on a global level. Because let's talk about that, because that 12 to 18-year-old window, what you've described here on those pillars is so inspirational about how individuals can choose their path, look at different ways of learning, and how other countries are looking to you as Armenia to replicate that.
And that is something that we're exporting too.
Yeah, that's right, that export.
So in terms of the extracurriculum STEM education, one thing we're proud of that initiatives like TUMO, Co-op, or Armad Laboratories, we have been able to provide it nationwide and free of charge to anyone who wants to learn.
Huge, yeah.
And the second thing you are talking about is the major shift that we have done from the curriculum-based education to a choice-based education, because everyone have their own learning dynamics, so kids are giving the freedom to choose what they want to learn, to make their own path through models, through 14 models, from robotics to graphic design to coding, software development, and anything. And the second thing that is really important with those dynamics, why it is hyper individualized, there is no time limit.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
kids
Yeah.
can go as long as they want. But
Yeah.
one thing is important that once they are done with this education system, they have their portfolios ready and they go to the market.
Yeah, and I think that there's such a strong participation, and even with that, those industry sectors, the STEM part, there's 45% of women. I think that's also participation as well.
In this education, yes. And overall, Armenia is in the fifth place globally, at least in 2024, that was the case globally in terms of women in IT sector.
Fantastic.
But overall, if you are looking into our workforce, 52% are women in
That's
Armenia.
great.
So
Yeah, and another world-leading, a role model, really, in that sense.
yeah, and these are things that we are really proud of. But another thing that I wanted to say that when we're speaking of this type of education as the future of learning, what really inspires us that this is not something in our imagination or this is something we want to do, but this is something that we've already done, succeeded on, and other countries are taking it. So we're covering most of the Europe. By 2027, we have the contracts for most of North America and South America. June 1 this year, we opened the first center in Asia, here
in Japan.
in Japan, and that's something that resonates our experience with our experience here at Expo, very importantly. And one thing we're proud of, that all of this is keeping the main cornerstone of the ideology that has been from the very beginning when it was being developed in Armenia, that it should be accessible to all the kids, and second, it should be free of charge.
Yeah, that's lovely. It's such a great...
Everywhere it goes, you know.
and that benefits all of humanity, not just Armenia.
Yeah.
It's such a really powerful message, and it's a great vision. Not, as you say, not even a vision, because you're already doing it. It's already in practice, and so many countries now see the value and the benefits.
Well, now the vision is to cover the entire world and to have this education accessible to every and each kid in the world.
Well, congratulations. It's amazing. And it's so powerful. It's such a great message, and it's so inspirational. Look, Eric, there's so many great things. We haven't even talked about tourism yet. I mean, the tourism part, as we talked about, is always... It's very highly ranked around the world as one of the places of destinations of choice. Such a beautiful country as well. Can we touch on that?
Yes, of course. As you mentioned, Armenia has been ranked by Numeir ranking. We're the 7th or 8th place, 10 years in a row, for the in terms of safety for tourists to come. And in Armenia we have this saying that one of my colleagues, Lucina, loves to always mention, that in Armenia there are no foreigners, there are just friends that we yet did not know.
Lovely,
while visiting, we make friends with all of them. Well, Armenia has to offer a lot of tourists of different, or let's say any preferences. Interested in mountain tourism, hiking, winter tourism, because we have four weathers, please come. History tourism, 25,000 historic sites, a lot of UNESCO World Heritage sites. Interested in wine tourism, as you mentioned, oldest winery in the world, and 400 endemic indigenous grape varieties in Armenia. So these are things that tourists are very much interested in. In recent years, we are having a lot of based on my personal experience, wedding tourism.
Really?
From Middle East, yes.
Oh, wow.
And another statistics that makes us happy is not only the numbers, the rising numbers of the tourists, but the geography is expanding. So, for example, if you're looking in comparison to 2013, because Armenia is a country of huge diaspora, we have around 10 million diaspora in the world. So I was personally looking into statistics yesterday. So in 2013, we had 63% of diaspora members of our overall tourism numbers coming
back.
into Armenia.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Now that number decreased to 35, because not less of them are coming, but because more and more foreigners are coming to discover Armenia.
That's a great
right?
statistic to show the difference in that expansion. That awareness is the secret's art, basically.
Yeah, and that's why we love to call Armenia the hidden track.
Yeah, no, lovely. And I think, the other thing is that, as you talk about the history, the tourism around that, the type of artifacts in the libraries and things that you've got there as well is mind-boggling. And I think so many people now, as they look to the future for innovation, they look back to history and some of those cultural things that may have been lost in the past. And that, I think Armenia is a great country to rediscover some of those innovations and ideas and thought-provoking topics as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And hopefully you personally and all of people looking at us from the other side of the screen will someday have the opportunity to come and discover Armenia, our great region. and it's always a pleasure.
Definitely on
to
my
host
bucket
you.
list. I want to come and see it more than ever now. Thank you, Edik, for
Thank
sharing
you
your
so
time and
much.
your busy schedule, and thanks for sharing your time with us on
Thank you
Import
for
Export.
shedding light on our story and our presence here at the Expo. Thank
Our
you so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much.
much.